Oh, hello everyone. So, I just got back from Elemental, the latest film Pixar, and the second to be released in theaters. There's since before a time long ago. Oh, and I, for one, absolutely loved it. May not have been my favorite one they put out of recent memory. I definitely say it's gonna be on the list, so let's get started. Film stars Leo Lewis as the voice of the fire element Ember, who is slated to inherit her father's role in their shop in Firetown when it bursts pipe and it brings in the building inspector Wade, voiced by Mamoto Ethie. Apologies for pronunciation there. Her they start on a journey to not only fix the issue but also discover some more about the city and themselves. It's one of those kind of stories, and I'm all for it. I don't totally understand why the mouse decided to roll the dice this time, especially given the circumstances. I still feel more confident in it getting its legs than the Flash, I'm being totally honest. As this film is directed by Peter Sohn, I'm inclined to tread lightly here, as it's a very personal film for Sohn, and there are going to be some minor spoilers, nothing, but that would you won't be able to get. It's mean, but we're going to need to see the movie in no full context. That's a scene where one of their relatives on their deathbed tells them who they could marry. That was actually partially based on one of some actual words that Sohn heard them say, reading some of these interviews, and his parents in real life did not live to see the finished film, but I think wherever they are, they're probably proud, and because this is definitely showing how far they've come since the first Toy Story. I'll just deal with the next one as it comes. I mean, in terms of not only use of color, but also physics, and especially like the whole squash and stretch match from the water elements, as well as Wade going through the pipe and into a sponge. I won't be going into much context, like, he does get over his fear of sponges, but he's probably going to be terrified of chimneys after that. I mean, the world they build in Element City is absolutely incredible. It's simply a visual feast to me in terms of different districts I have for water, fire, earth, and air, as it were. I did have something else in mind for the intro, but I'm just trying to stay on top of the hard drive space. Voice casting, quite strong across the board. I mean, I especially like Wendy McClendon and Covey as Gail, who is Wade's boss. Who I also kind of like the ways of problem solving. Like, you want to help their Wendy boss, convince them not to close down on their shop. You have to help turn the tides, because like literally on their ball game. You want to show a Claude who is voiced by a, shall we say, a Mason Wertheimer, that you're not at his type. Hope you just simply turn the flower, or had he picked for you, out of his own body into ashes. I mean, there's a lot of visual and character based jokes and quirks here. I mean, here, and the parable, what we know, is definitely one that we is definitely needed now, I'd say, and how the wide range is not a weakness but a strength, and especially like how these reflects everything like wardrobe choices as well, like how with some of the garments get it's taken on for the ride with some of the elements, and like Ember having all these outfits that are kind of different shades, and like of course Claw will be wearing a camo sweater and organic sneaker sandals in that kind of city. Why wouldn't he? I mean, lots of different cultures influence the style and tone of the film, and the proverbial melting pot. I'm seeing strains not just to stuff such as they say is influence like Amelie, Big Sick, Godfather, but also ones like the Joy Luck Club, and also seeing even elements of an American Tale. Not quite as heartbreaking as that, especially that first one there, but let's just say that by the end, don't be surprised if you end up leaving the theater a little misty eyed. Same with the short that opens the film, Kyle's Dates, which has a posthumous appearance of Ed Asner reprising his role as Carl Fredricksen from Up, as well as Bob Peterson reprising his role as Doug. Sometimes, if you're trying to get back in the dating game, your wingman might not say to be a man, but it's like a dog that likes to talk about squirrels and mailmen. So, I give this a luminous course out of 4, and now on to some coming attractions. Gonna go in chronological order just to keep things flowing. Indiana Jones Down Destiny, of course, I'm hyped for on June 30th, so 4th of July weekend. One last goodbye with everyone's favorite archaeologist. And even though, like with this movie, I was a little bit concerned based on some of the others from Con, things seem to be leveling out now that more people in the States are getting a chance to see it. And I also think that there was some prediction that they're lowballing given how the circumstances, and I definitely have confidence on the cast. Also, James Mangold's director, who's a lot of other films I liked. And I will definitely take the bet they're putting about the $70 opening weekend for 4th of July. I would say, like, matching it being the last movie's opening is lofty a plausible goal. Merely non apples apples comparison, and given how the wait is only slightly shorter, and that last movie opened to a Memorial Day weekend, but still, I definitely have more confidence in this than others. I'm not saying I never watched Ruby Gilman, but it can wait for now, is all I'm saying. Okay, so August 2nd, and TMNT Mutant Mayhem, the fact they bumped the movie up 2 days release, it shows how confident Paramount is in this one. I'd say it's 7 years since the last theatrical release installment of the franchise, more than enough time. I'm definitely still very much liking the things they're doing with the Turtles Rogues, as well as their Rogues Gallery, and even April herself, and how they lean into the teenage aspect there, where they're trying to balance their growing teenage selves being guards in New York City. And yes, I'm still laughing pretty hard at the whole one of Raph's sides getting caught in Donnie's thigh, and just little bits like the glasses and how one of them wears a retainer. That's kind of neat, but it's a nice little touch if you forget what color mask they wear or what kind of weapon they use, and how it seemed to how some of them sound like they had some slight healing with their pizza or get real down and low. Oh yeah, I can dig it, but still. And if it does want to lead into a TV show, it wouldn't be the first time they've been able to leverage that kind of success. It happened with Jimmy Neutron, it happened with Barnyard, it could definitely happen with the Turtles, though it's not always as guaranteed. I'm talking their time. Okay, so November Wish, which is no relation to the infamous shipping service, but rather it's their latest fairy tale film, which comes up in a century of storytelling, and even though some people can think it's going to be the return to real villains, I'm not certain. We'll see how it plays out, because I don't know, but I for one am actually kind of liking how not every story every has a villain unambiguously. Because there's now, like the one I just saw, the conflicts basically come from the foibles day-to-day life, as it often does. Sometimes things just happen. Like what can start as like a minor problem can snowball into something bigger. But I think the animation style, as well as some of the voice performances and songs I've got in mind, will make this one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Count on that. last but definitely not least is Elio, which is coming next year, which centers on the title character, a young man who, through one coincidental phone call, ends up hitting a mistaken and for the leader of Earth, and I think it should be interesting, like how basically you could imagine stuff like Arrival or Contact if the premise was played humorously instead of dramatically. I mean, I certainly could, and with Elliot from Earth more or less being cut short, barring any potential revival. I mean, also, and with that in mind, I definitely will be keeping an eye on this one as well. I'm not sure whether or not the eye patch is going to be temporary or not, but either way, it should be interesting to see how that plays out. And if anything, given how that'll actually be the least weird thing with all those aliens, I mean, he's going to be interacting with. And anyway, that'll be all for now. And I've decided that that I will most likely be doing like a spoiler review of the Flash after it comes to Max, and as for anything else, I have seen it sooner. That's to be determined. That's all for now. Take care, everyone.